Yeah, it's your boy Crypto Blood, and welcome to another episode of My Two Satoshis and a little double spin. It's April 10th, 2018, and we got some Mac Dre playing. Not My Job. Shout out to my man Anarchy Lewis. He wanted me to play some Mac Dre, and shout out to the Bay Area. This is a legendary rapper. Rest in peace. He's killed. Actually, not even in his city. When he was killed, I think he was in St. Louis or something. I can't remember where, but legendary Bay Area rapper. So shout out to you people in the Bay Area. But today we're going to be talking about Bitcoin, and it's actually a Computerphile video. But Bitcoin, and is it cash, or should it stay a commodity, and the reasons why it possibly should stay a commodity, and why almost no governments around the world has shifted that to a currency. And this person, he's more of computer science background that's on here, but he explains why. And I want to get your feedback on that and what you guys think about this. And he brings up a good point at the end of the video. And it really, the whole premise of his argument is that Bitcoin can be mixed together with bad coins or stolen Bitcoin or you know, coins that were used on the black market that get colored and labeled bad coins. So if that's the case, everyone participating on the Bitcoin network is participating in handling bad coins and mixing of bad coins and money laundering. That's kind of his premise, or that's how he believes the governments are looking at it. And he brings up a good point at the end of it, though, about whether or not a official exchange would ever accept anonymous coins like Monero, Zcash, Zcoin, because he was saying that the governments inherently will look at those coins as money laundering type of coins. They will, for sure, but sometimes people just want to have privacy, and privacy does not equal doing something bad. And that's what we've been brainwashed to believe. If we don't have anything to hide, why hide it? No, that should not be our mindset. But check out this video. Let me know your comments about it. I think I don't know. I'm up in the air about this one. I don't too much agree with it. But before we do that, I do want to give a look at the markets. Market cap is at $264 billion. Bitcoin's dominance is slightly dropped there. It's at 44% flat. And overall, kind of a green day, even though it's marginally not that percentage-wise. Most of the coins aren't up that much. But yeah, it looks all right. So let's look at the algo. Algo is still short, even though I'm about break even right now. I don't think I've seen Bitcoin hover around an area of support for this long in a while. It's been a while, that's for sure. You won't be able to see visually what I'm talking about right here, because this is my algo chart. So it's just showing you where it's bought, sold, and gone short. So we're two positions short right here and right here, and just kind of waiting to see what happened. If I didn't have my algo, this is why I don't really pay attention to other people's TA. It's not even really, I don't pay attention to other people's TA, because then I'll start to tank my own views on which direction the market is going. And I'm tainting my own view because now I'm looking at my algorithm and you know, it's giving me one signal, and I may be second guessing myself on the manual TA. But at any rate, the algos are short. I am still showing a channel. However, let me just finish drawing this channel. And again, I told you guys the other day, it doesn't always go all the way back up to the other part of that channel. but overall it's kind of in a trading range is what we're, looking at. And then also you could probably draw something like this, like that, and then do like this here, right here, and that's kind of what we may possibly have here, a flag, pennant, if you want to call it, formation. And so we got to figure out at the end of this right here, this area, if I extend this out a little bit, we can have it cross. And there we go, like that. So we'll see what happens at the end of this flag, whether we go up or down. But boy, have we been in a trading range lately. Looking good though to the upside, even though the algo is showing a short. And this is we've touched this line so many times here. This is good news in my opinion. I think we would break out to the upside at the end of this. And just to give you some frame reference, the end of this is around the 14th of April. So in about 4 days we should roughly, give or take, sometimes it pops out beforehand, but in about 4 days or so we should know which direction we're going to be going in these markets. So sit tight, put on the seatbelt, and enjoy the ride. All right, people, let's go ahead and jump into this Computerphile video. Is Bitcoin cash?
At least if it's a coin, if it's a gold coin, it's really no different from any other gold coin. And so one is as good as another. That's not quite true with notes, because notes are serial numbers, but let's ignore that for the time being. Now, there's other things that are fungible, like ears of corn, or in the old days, sheep. In Roman times, if 20 sheep wandered from Marcus's farm into Crassus's farm, then the court could simply tell Crassus to give Marcus 20 sheep back, and any 20 sheep, it didn't matter. But nowadays, of course, sheep have got little electronic passports clipped into their ears, so if that were to happen between two Italian farms nowadays, then Marcus could go and get exactly the right 20 sheep back from Crassus. So here's an example of how technology has made sheep from a fungible asset into a trackable asset. Now Bitcoin's the same, because every Bitcoin carries with it pointers to its entire history. So you can see everybody who's owned that Bitcoin or parts of it ever since these parts were originally mined. And so you can see whether parts of that Bitcoin were stolen at some time or another, or whether they went through money laundering schemes, or whether they were used in the drugs trade, or have got various other objectionable qualities that might cause the authorities to want to call them in and have a close look at them.
What about the money laundering thing then? How does that work?
At present, in England, you can't get good title to stolen goods, but until 1995 you could, because there was a law called the law of market overt. So if I stole your horse and I went and sold it in Cambridge Market between dawn and dusk, then somebody who bought it from me in good faith would end up owning the horse, and all you could then do was to sue me or get me hanged or sent to Virginia. Now this was abolished in 1995 because it was being abused, but the rule survives in the law of money and banking. Now if you go to a Barclays Bank ATM, for example, and you get out a £20 note, then even if that £20 note was stolen last year in a bank robbery, that's not your problem. That's Barclays Bank's problem, because you got it from a regulated financial institution, and so your title to it is certain. Similarly, if you go to John Lewis's and you buy a toaster for 30 quid and you pay them with a 50 and you get a £20 note in your change, then you own that £20 note, because there's another rule which says that if you get something for value in good faith, right, then so long as that something is money, you get good title to it. So the Bitcoin people have been lobbying for at least 5 years to have Bitcoin to be declared money. Because if Bitcoin becomes money, then they think that many of the problems around stolen Bitcoins and Bitcoins that were used in the drugs trade and so on would go away. So we've been looking into this, and it turns out that it isn't quite true. Now, no government has yet admitted that Bitcoin is money, but even if a court were to find that Bitcoin is money, as courts, for example, found that carbon credits can be treated as money for some purposes, then it doesn't get the Bitcoin criminals off the hook. And the reason for this is that to get good title to something that was once stolen, you have to do it in good faith. Now, what's the meaning of in good faith? Somebody might argue that you can't get a Bitcoin in good faith because everybody knows there's so much bad stuff goes on in Bitcoin. But even if you don't buy that argument, there's another problem, which is that many people in the Bitcoin world have set up what they call Bitcoin mixes or even Bitcoin laundries, where the idea is that you take along your stolen Bitcoin or the Bitcoin that you got from selling hashish sheep market or whatever. You put this black Bitcoin into a pot and 9 other people come along and put in their white Bitcoins into the pot, and you shake the pot very, very hard and you kind of hope that you get 10 white Bitcoins out. Now, the law is quite clear on this, that if there's money laundering, then you can't have good faith. And so if you put 1 black Bitcoin and 9 white Bitcoins into a pot and you shake it, then if Bitcoins are held to be money, what you get out is 10 black Bitcoins. Sorry guys, asking for Bitcoin to be money was the wrong thing to ask for. Because if Bitcoin had simply remained a commodity, like pig iron bars or whatever, then this magic wouldn't happen. The stolen pig iron bar would still be a stolen pig iron bar. You would put the 1 black Bitcoin and the 9 white Bitcoins into a pot and you'd shake them, and then some unlucky sod would get the black one out. And in that case, of course, economics kicks in, because then nobody's got an incentive to take part in a money laundering scheme. Now, the interesting thing about this is that if Bitcoin become money or are treated as money for some purposes, then this is a really mortal threat to those cryptocurrencies which provide built-in laundries, such as Monero and Zcash. Now, in Zcash, for example, most of the time it works just like Bitcoin, and there's a fully traceable blockchain of who passed on a coin to whom. But you can, if you want, take your zero coin and you can put it back in the mine and have it remined and get out one that's nice and shiny and new, in the sense that it's indistinguishable from all the other coins mined in that round. Just the same as if you've been recasting a gold bar, or you've taken a gold bar to a crooked foundry or a bent goldsmith and got it turned into something that was untraceable. But the effect of this, according to the law of money and banking, is actually to poison every single coin that comes out of that mine. And this would lead regulators to ask themselves whether or not they should simply instruct regulated Bitcoin exchanges not under any circumstances to change cash or other cryptocurrencies into currencies such as Zcash or Monero, on the grounds that these were designed for the purpose of money laundering, and therefore there was an issue of obstruction of justice. Thrust out, or FIFO, is
I can bust you a rap, but anything else, it's not my job. I'll pay your cap back, but anything else, not my job.